Hi, so I've started renovations. So let me talk a little bit about what I'm planning to do here, and then I'm going to do a time-lapse video, which is something I've never done before, to show some of the progress over time, because it's going to take quite a while. So I did a previous video on the plans for the garage. I've started off by ordering lights for the garage. Previously I had used these, they're Braun lights, they're from Harbor Freight. They're honestly not that great. I mean, they provide a lot of light, but they're very harsh, and they're very fatiguing when you're working under them for a long length of time. They're very blue, like in the spectrum. They're not actual blue, but they're like a very, very white. And that's fatiguing when you're trying to work under them. They're not dimmable in any way. So I ordered Cree lights from Obsessed Garage. I have some Cree LS fixtures on the way. I'm going to be doing 4 rows from the 4 kind of vertical rows going from the back to the front, kind of separating the parking spaces. So if we've got 3 parking spaces, I'm going to have 1 row of lights on both sides of each car, if that makes sense. So on the along the far wall there, I'm going to be doing an 8-foot section followed by a 4-foot section, so it'll be 12 feet of light. Here in the middle, I'm going to be doing an 8-foot section followed by a 12-foot section, which will be 12 feet of light. Here I'm going to be doing a 16-foot section where I've got this kind of triangle in the back, 16-foot section, and right now there's 8 feet of light, so that kind of shows the difference between the lengths. And then along this wall, I'm going to be doing another 12-foot section there, and there's 8 feet there right now, so I'll get another 4 feet of light. Those are going to be installed with Lutron Vive, which are low voltage controllers that are wireless. So I'm going to be able to go from, I have a single switch that controls my lights right now, that's this one. I'm going to be able to go to 3 switches, and 2 of them are going to be wireless, and they're going to talk to the Lutron Vive, which is the 0 to 10 volt controller, and those controllers will live up in my attic. So I'm working on laying this out, and as part of this, I've got these like receptacles above the lights. So those are being filled in, and there's going to be some electrical work that needs to happen for the Cree lights to be installed. So it was a good opportunity for me to paint this again, because there's drywall patching and work and stuff that needs to be done. And there have just been a lot of changes since this was painted. I want to say it's been 2 years since we painted the garage. And I did it in white because I thought that it would be bright and it would provide a lot of light for detailing, but really it's fatiguing. There's a lot of reflections. I don't really care for it. So I'm doing a bunch of things here as part of this. I had a rack up top here that had a bunch of like storage bins on it. That's gone, completely removed, patched in the holes. This is where the receptacle was for the lights that were over here, so that's being patched in as well. The bicycles are going to go back where they are, but all of the hooks are going to be black in the future. So I'm going to get rid of the red hooks. And then, I'm just kind of filling in all the screw holes and everything else. Over here, this is where there used to be shelving here. So that's where like these marks are. So I patched in those marks. And then this is where my sprinkler controller goes, and that's the feed for my sprinkler controller. That was previously on a piece of pipe. It's a normal, like a 1/2-inch conduit. But it was painted over previously and it just looked like crap. So I got a new piece of 1/2-inch conduit. I'm just gonna do it the right way. It's gonna look good. And I'm gonna shorten the cord and all of that. There's other things too, like some of these receptacles in the garage are a little worn out, so we're gonna swap those out. And then, just kind of rearrange some things. So you'll see that I've got kind of crap all over the place right now because I'm in the middle of a lot of things. But I'm gonna clean this up and I'm gonna continue working, and right now I'm waiting for spackle to dry so that I can start to texture. So I have to redo the texture on these patches because as you can see, the wall has a texture that they call orange peel, and this part that I did is not. So And then last, the paint that I'm going to be using, I'll talk about this. So this is Benjamin Moore Ultra Spec Scuff X. So somebody brought this up in the Obsessed Garage Facebook group. It seems to be pretty well reviewed, very well liked. Even some of the people at Sherwin-Williams really like it, and Sherwin-Williams is a competitor to Benjamin Moore. So I went with 2 different colors. I did a color here called Wrought Iron. 2124-10 is the color code. So it's this color. So that's going to be my ceiling. So I have 2 gallons of that are going to cover the ceiling. I'm also going to paint over this door. So that door and the trim around it are going to be painted. And then for the walls, I'm going with a color called Storm, AF700. And that is a pretty good match to the Sonic cabinets. So it should look like a very dark gray ceiling with a lighter gray walls. The cabinets are all bordered out in black. I think it's gonna look good. So let's set the camera up and we'll try a time lapse. At this point, I've got the floor taped off. I'm ready to start, well, I'm almost ready to start painting. I'm waiting on the texture to dry. Texture, I think is gonna come out okay. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I think it's gonna look good. So I'm gonna pull down this cabinet and these quick jack mounts and the air hose and this cabinet. My goal today is to basically paint all of this up to the corner. So like this corner here and that hard corner there. And then in the center section, I'm kind of gonna go out like a bow and get this door as well. Take off these last couple things. The time lapse stopped on the camera. Sorry about that. Ran out of shots, which means that was like 1 hour and 15 minutes. Day 2. Obviously the ceiling's about halfway done. I got into this portion of the garage and that's kind of where I ended, so about halfway through. I'm out of the wrought iron paint, so that was 2 gallons. I need probably 2 more. So I'm gonna have to wait till Monday, which is tomorrow, to get more paint. But I'm gonna start on the walls. So my goal here is to do kind of this half of the garage up to like where my Sonic cabinets are and up to where that hard line is there next to the train tracks. So that I can then put this back together and have a place to put my cabinets and my other stuff while I'm painting, you know, the other portion of the garage. So here's where we're at. As you can see, I have about half of the garage painted. So I kind of went up to the corner there, did this whole section up to the corner here. I've got my quick jacks hung back up. I've got my cabinets hung back up. The bikes are hung. The trim, you know, I did a piece of the trim, and some very minor touches, but I think that they're kind of important. Like the receptacle in the ceiling for the garage door opener, I changed that to black. The speaker grill for the in-ceiling speakers, I painted those black. I did my attic access, which I think made a huge difference. I am going to change this to a black handle and a black rope. Because what I'm finding is, like, it kind of makes it disappears into the ceiling when you've got bright light below it. I put up 2 of the lights temporarily. So, you know, these 4-foot Harbor Freight Braun lights, they're 5,000 lumen lights. I put those up temporarily until my Cree lights come in. I did run the wiring for the Cree lights. So these are actually in the position where the Cree lights are going to go. I'm doing 12-foot strands. So there will be an 8-foot strand here and a 4-foot strand there, and they're going to meet basically where my mark is there, where that white clip is kind of bolted to the ceiling. Same deal with that. So I'm going to have, you know, 4 feet. These are centered. The center of this is the center of the ceiling. So I'll have 12 feet of light, and it'll be centered. I haven't really gotten into this side yet. I still obviously have a lot more to do. I'm going to change a couple other things here as well. I ordered blinds for the windows, and unfortunately, you know, this before me, this was painted like a beige color, and there's beige paint all over the window frame. So I'm gonna go outside the window with my blinds and just kind of cover up the entire thing. This window's fixed, it doesn't open. This window does open, but I don't really open it because we end up with a lot of dust in here on the cars. So I'm just gonna kind of cover it up. I'm ordering some shades, and I'll post a link in the description, a separate video when I get those. I did hang the quick jacks back up. I think those are good. I do have to get my hose reel hung back up, but this corner isn't built out, so it kind of came off with the reel when I took it off, so I'm gonna have to fix that. There's a couple, I have to touch up some paint here, but it's been going well. You know, the next thing that I'm probably going to tackle is this corner of the garage here. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do it yet. There's some stuff that I'm unhappy with. You know, I've got all this network equipment that's kind of out here exposed. I'm gonna put that up in the attic. You'll still see the camera, the wireless access point. I'll hang from the ceiling somewhere, probably over here somewhere. The HDMI extender for the TV, I'll probably bury that up in the ceiling, and then I'll run the HDMI cable actually through the wall and fish this from up above, and just kind of make it a little bit more legit. I'm considering moving my salt tank into the other room, and that's going to require piping that over there. It's like a 1/2-inch hard line. And obviously I have a bunch of junk that I have to get rid of, like these old blinds and, you know, some other things, and everything is a mess. You can see all the materials here. One thing, the paint didn't go as far as I thought it would. I thought that I could do the ceiling on 2 gallons, maybe into 3 gallons. 2 gallons did this much, and I still have, you know, half of it left. My garage is a decent size. It's like 33 by 24. But, you know, I had to buy 2 more gallons, which is going to allow me to finish this. It's also going to allow me to get the trim. Hopefully I don't run out. I might run out, who knows. But I thought that I might have some extra to do this room, and I definitely am not going to have additional to do that room.